Hello, and welcome to Goob 7/14/2023. That's a general order of business for my company. Haha, that seemed to have rhymed with the year. That makes sense to me. Now, what we have here is the final black labeled mini amp for our primary system commercial. That is nice. And you can look at it here. Black label, like this. Now, basically in China, they have a bunch of brands, and it's all the PRC factories. Really. I mean, they really work on things collaboratively there, and it's a different system, and they're very efficient. And I love working with the Pacific for that reason because I'm years behind them, honestly, and they're kind of like almost, but there are like 100,000 units of this here, and what's cool is that it has stereo and then an LFE channel, okay, and you can control the stereo output with this little knob, and you can control the LFE output with this little knob. Then overall, we've got another knob, and the knobs feel very nice. It's got a power button, has Bluetooth input, and RCA input for direct if you need that. Now, one thing that it's missing is the headphone output. Okay, too bad, no headphone output. We can get that on the SL model. Okay, no problem. No problem there. It's supposedly 200 watts. You'd have to run it with a serious power adapter to get that. What you're really going to get is, with a standard adapter, is like 30 and 60, but that's lots. It really is. I rocked clubs, like I just posted a photo of myself rocking a Montreal club with a 40 watt amp. Now this is a giant 40 watt tube amp from 1967 that I was using, or maybe it was actually the one that's right beside me that you can't see, that is listed as a 200 watt amp, and yeah, it's a little louder. I think it was this one actually. It was maybe 10 years earlier that I was running with a 67 amp. But the point is that like for your house, 30 watts per top and 60 watts for a sub is actually plenty. RMS value, it really is. Like, real wattage is a different thing than like fake car audio wattage. I not to say that those guys are totally fakers or posers, because they do rock the streets and they shake my house as they drive by to kind of pwn me every night or whatever. But that, I mean, like, you're not running 2,000 watts. I'm sorry, you just aren't. Like, it's just, maybe your amp is capable of that, but you're not. You're probably running like 20 watts, man. Like, honestly. Anyway, because most listening is at 1 watt, and that's just a fact in your house. Because a watt is more than you might think. Electricity's weird, you know. But anyway, another Goob thing is this G. It's basically a JBL charge, okay? Look at it. I mean, this is another PRC thing. They don't care. This is like, in terms of they just take the best designs, and they build this stuff anyway. Put a little different brand on it, and they build it, and there's really, in the audio industry, there are very few actionable patents, because we all basically have the same knowledge at this point. Like, tubes are good for bass, yep, normal, I mean, that kind of thing. And that applies in like a whole bunch of ways. Like, literally, this thing's a tube, and I'll just turn it on for a second. Here we go, turn it on. Oh yeah! Oh, that's loud bass, or whatever. And the thing doesn't sound hi-fi. It doesn't. But it does have bass. For a little guy, for like a little mid-bass tube thing that's battery powered. It's great. I couldn't do better myself. I just couldn't. You know, I tried a bunch of things, but that design from JBL, I'm not going to lie. I mean, literally, it's a design from JBL that has been exported to everyone, and everyone just does it because they can look at it and be like, well, that does kind of make sense. You put two speakers there, and then you put them in a tube. It's the simplest thing in the world, actually. And then you put a big G on it, and then you're the OG or whatever. You know, look at that. Doesn't that look like not JBL? Oh, I shouldn't be saying JBL a lot, but I don't think they're going to come after me because I'm not the manufacturer of that. I'm more like a CQA, and that's totally protected class, if you know what I mean. But what I want to get back to this guy for a second because this is like Black Label, and there is no brand, and it's a DIY piece for like people who want to do kind of their own thing, but a finished product. And that means that it's great as the basis for a system design, and really it is a high fidelity amplifier. It's been tested by many people. It's not just this place doing the standard for that. It did take a while because honestly, the I first got these 3 years ago, and the chipset was a little different. What else was different? The knob set was different. A few things they'd kind of cheaped out on, if you know what I mean. And that's on me. That's on everyone for only being willing to pay so much money. And that's all we could do at the time. Now, strangely, they're less expensive now and better. Who knew? You know that it could be that way. Maybe it just required more caterwauling at the Pacifico factories, GGEM, PRC factories, the OTF, this kind of thing. That's the gubernatorial material that you can use for your future goobs. This has been a goob.